Hi friends, let us look at resources and development. This is one of the chapters in the geography for 10th standard. What are resources? Things in our environment which we need is technologically accessible, which is economically feasible and culturally acceptable is called a resource. Okay, so we can use anything that is there in the environment, but it needs to be useful to us. Okay, that is called a resource. Humans interact with nature through technology and create industries to do economic development of products using resources. Okay, so let's say we are making furniture. Okay, our resource is nothing but the wood that we get from the trees. So we cut down the trees, we make it wood, right? That wood is a resource which we can use for making furniture, which is a product. So whatever there is in nature, we process it, and in the wood cutting industry, furniture industry, we make the furniture. So in the industries, we utilize the resources to make products. Draw a diagram for classification of resources. See, the resources can be classified as either natural or human. Okay, who are human resources? Human resources are nothing but people who have skills. Let's say farmers, carpenters, metal workers, engineers, civil engineers, mechanical engineers, all of us humans who have some skills are human resources, right? We can think of them as human resources. Okay, and we build industries, structures, institutions, and we produce qualitative products. Okay, other type of resources are what we get from nature, right? From nature, the resources are called natural resources, and they are two types. One is renewable, okay, which can keep on continuing, right? We can keep on continuing to use those resources. And second type is non-renewable. Okay, there is a finite amount of that resource. Once you use up that resource, again it will not be available. Okay, for example, if you take renewable resources, you have continuous flow of wind, continuous flow of water, so that is a renewable resource. Okay, continuous sunlight is there, you can use it to create electricity using solar panels. That is okay. That are all renewable resources. If you take biological, we have a natural vegetation like forest, wildlife. All those can be thought of as renewable. As long as we don't overuse them and protect them properly, they can be renewed. What are non-renewable resources? See, the metals, for example, in the earth, there is only a certain amount of metal, right? So we should recycle it, right? We should not keep on digging up the earth to take more and more metal. If that happens, then we'll run out of the metal very easily. Similarly, fossil fuels, for example, petrol, kerosene, all these are available as oil in nature, but whatever oil is there, we have to use it judiciously, because once all the oil in the world is finished, it is not renewable. We cannot get it back. Okay, so that is non-renewable resources. What happens if resources are not used wisely? Resources get depleted, finished due to greed of few people. See, if few people are greedy, what they will do, they will just take all the resources. I want it for myself, and they will finish it off. So that should not happen. Inequitable distribution of resources creates a divide between people who have it and who don't. Suppose somebody takes away all the oil, right? There is a divide between the people who have it and who don't have it, isn't it? So yeah, the resources should be distributed equitably, equally, uniformly. Okay, it should not happen that some people have a lot of it and some people don't have it at all. Okay, so inequitable distribution is the problem. Indiscriminate use of resources leads to damage to ecology. Okay, so it damages our environment. Okay, if you indiscriminately burn oil, you will create global warming. That burning of oil will create greenhouse gases, which will sort of warm up our atmosphere. It will harm the ozone layer. Okay, we will have ozone layer depletion, we will have environmental pollution, land degradation. All these problems will happen if we don't use resources properly. Indiscriminate use of resources lead to damage to ecology or environment, global warming, ozone layer depletion, environmental pollution, land degradation, etc. What is sustainable development? Sustainable economic development means development should not damage the environment. Okay, so whenever we do any industry, we should ensure that we don't damage the environment. Okay, and we should take actions so that our effect on the environment is as less as possible. And it should not compromise the need of future generations. See, if we use up all the oil today in this generation, for next generation there will be no oil left. Okay, so that is what we mean by sustainable development. Sustainable economic development means we should not damage the environment and we should not compromise the needs of future generations. Which resources do various states in India have? See, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh are rich in minerals and coal deposits. Arunachal Pradesh has abundance of water resources. Rajasthan is very well endowed with solar and wind energy. Okay, so these are few of the examples of what states, each of Indian states, what are the resources it has. What are the steps in resource planning? Okay, first you should identify and do an inventory of resources in various parts of the nation. You should say in this state this resource is there, in that state that resources is there. That is the first step to ensure that we know what resources we have so that we can equitably distribute it, isn't it? So appropriate technology, skilled industry for implementing resource development plans. Okay, so we need appropriate people who have appropriate technology, they have appropriate skills and industries to do the resource development, and our resource development plans must match with the overall nation development plan. Okay, so why are we using resources? To make people happy. Make people happy means a developed nation, isn't it? So all our resource development plans should coincide, should align with the national development, which will benefit all the citizens. What has Gandhiji said about resources? Gandhiji has said the earth has enough for everybody's need and not for anybody's greed, right? So what he was saying is, if people are greedy, the earth doesn't have enough resources. Only if you are, you want to sort of fulfill your need, then earth has sufficient resources. He was against greedy individuals. Okay, and he supported production by masses rather than mass production. See, mass productions machines will do, and people will not be able to participate, and there will be loss of jobs and all that, right? But production by masses, each person will have some work, and he can make a livelihood out of it. Okay, so production by masses is better than mass production. Describe various kind of land resources in India. Okay, so the land sort of supports vegetation, wildlife, humans, economic activities, transport and communication, right? Everything happens on the land, isn't it? And therefore it is a very valuable resource. Forests grow there, wildlife grows there, humans do agriculture and live off the land, right? There are economic activities, transport is there, communication is there. 43% of land is plain in India, that is suitable for agriculture and industry. There are 30% of mountains. Okay, mountains are responsible to keep our rivers flowing. Okay, to to maintain the rainforest trees, because mountains will stop the clouds that carry rain. It will make it rain, and rainforests will happen, right? And 27% is the plateau region. Okay, so 43% is the plain region for agriculture and industry. 30% mountains we have, which will ensure our rivers are flowing and rainforests are growing. Okay, and 27% is the plateau region, which is rich in minerals, fossil fuels. Okay, so we can do mining here, and we can use that resources for our industry. Okay, give types of land. Okay, what are the types of land? See, one you have is the forests. Okay, that is naturally given to you and beautiful and green. Okay, then there is barren wasteland. Here what happens is, the soil is not very fertile, so it is barren. Okay, so you cannot do any cultivation there, so it's a barren wasteland. That is the second type. Third type is land used by buildings. See, you have to build your building somewhere, isn't it? You have to construct your buildings, construct your roads, etc. Land used by such man-made structures is land used by buildings. Grazing land. See, even if there are no forests, there might be grass where the cows and sheep can graze, and those are known as grazing lands. Okay, fallow lands. Fallow lands are the lands which are fertile but have not been used for cultivation for past 1 to 5 years. Okay, such lands which have not been cultivated, for past 1 to 5 years is called fallow, FALLOW lands. Okay, and the next type of lands is net sown area. Okay, net sown area means here the cultivation is happening, we are planting the crops, we are harvesting it, and the land is getting used for agriculture. So net sown area is the land where crops are grown and harvested. These are the types of land. Give percentages of types of land in India. Okay, so the total geographical area of India is 3.28 million square kilometer. So you know the area of the rectangle is length into breadth, area of triangle is half base into height. All that area you have studied. If you take India and take the area of the Indian land, it is 3.28 million square kilometers. Okay, and if you look at the chart, if you look at the numbers of 2019 to 2020, you can see that around 45% is used for agricultural uses, area under agricultural uses. Okay, and the blue one, which is around 23%, is the forest area, and so on and so forth. So you can see the pie chart, okay, as to how the surface area of India, the area in India is divided into cultivatable land, then forest land, then barren land, and so on and so forth. Okay, what are the causes of land degradation? See, if you keep on cutting forests indiscriminately, and if you do overgrazing of animals in grassland indiscriminately, you keep doing mining and quarrying. Quarrying means moving sand from one point to other for construction. If you kind of do all these actions uncontrollably, right, these are the causes of land degradation. Okay, deforestation, overgrazing, overmining, quarrying have contributed significantly to land degradation. In Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh and MP, Odisha, deforestation due to mining have caused severe land degradation. So they wanted to sort of mine minerals from the sands there. Okay, and that sands had forests on them, so they had to deforest it. So that is a huge problem to the environment. Okay, Gujarat, Rajasthan, MP and Maharashtra, overgrazing is causing land degradation. Okay, so in these areas a lot of cattle are there, then they are overgrazing the grasslands, and that is causing land degradation. Okay, in Punjab, Haryana, Western UP, over irrigation is causing land degradation due to waterlogging. Okay, so they are not irrigating intelligently, they are not giving how much water is required, they are giving water more than what is required, and that is causing waterlogging, and that is degrading the land. Okay, give examples of pollution. Okay, exhaust from vehicles and industries is causing global warming, which is atmospheric pollution. Okay, so whenever you do some industrial activity, the carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, everything is released, and that goes into the atmosphere, and it causes global warming. Okay, land degradation is happening due to grazing, mining, quarrying, deforestation, waterlogging. Okay, this is another land pollution basically. Okay, industrial waste are dumped into land, rivers and seas without proper treatment, and that is causing land and water pollution. Okay, grinding of limestone for cement industry is causing lot of dust in air, that is causing dust pollution in air. So these are all the examples of pollution which we should not do, and we should minimize it as much as we can. Okay, give steps to prevent land degradation and pollution. So if there is land degradation and pollution, how do we minimize it? How do we stop it? So afforestation. Okay, instead of deforestation, do afforestation. Afforestation is the opposite of deforestation. Instead of cutting down plants, do afforestation, plant trees to make greener earth. Okay, plant bushes in sand dunes. Okay, so that will make the desert greener. Proper management for grazing and mining. Okay, whenever you do some grazing in the grasslands or mining for materials, keep it as much as it's necessary. Do not overdo it. So proper management of grazing and mining. Okay, proper discharge and disposal of industrial effluents and waste after treatment. So whatever comes out of the industry, you have to treat it before you release it to the atmosphere or land or sea or river. Please treat it properly so that it doesn't cause the pollution. So these are all the points using which you can prevent land degradation and pollution. How is soil formed? What are the layers of the soil? See, the soil is a living system in itself. In the soil, there are various types of organisms. There are various bacteria, various viruses, various earthworms, various insects. various flora and fauna. So the soil is itself a living system. It's a very complicated living system. It takes millions of years to form only a few centimeter depth soil. Okay, so if you want to form a soil which is few centimeter in depth, it takes millions of years. Soil is formed by temperature changes, actions of running water, wind, glaciers, and a lot of complicated processes, natural processes happen to form the soil. Okay, so if you look at the soil, we have the top soil, that is the upper layer. We have the subsoil, which is the second layer. It is basically weathered rocks, clay, silt, etc. And we have the third layer, which is substratum. Okay, rock material, and below that we have weathered unweathered bedrock. Okay, so top soil, then subsoil, below that substratum rock, and below that unweathered parent bedrock. Okay, this unweathered parent bedrock is not been exposed to atmosphere, so it is unweathered. Okay, the substratum weathered rock is somewhere in between. Okay, the subsoil is more affected by weather. It has silt, clay, and all that. The topsoil is the upper part of the soil. Okay, soil layers are topsoil, subsoil or weathered rock, clay, etc. Substratum weathered rock is the third layer, and unweathered bedrock is the fourth layer. What are the types of soils in India? See, we have alluvial soil, which is very fertile. This is present in the northern plains and deposited by Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra rivers. Okay, so what happens is when these rivers flow from the top of the mountains, they bring fertile soil and deposit it on the plains of India, northern plains. In eastern coastal plains, due to Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri rivers, alluvial soil is present. Okay, so alluvial soil is a soil which is brought on the plains because of the flow of rivers. They are very fertile. Okay, alluvial soil has potash, phosphoric acid and lime. That's the contents, and they are ideal for growth of sugarcane, paddy, wheat and other cereal and pulse crops. Okay, this is alluvial soil. What is black soil? Black soil is ideal for growing cotton. Okay, they are present in plateaus of Maharashtra and MP. MP is Madhya Pradesh. Okay, they have clayey material, so they have a lot of clay mixed with the black soil. Black soil is rich in calcium carbonate, magnesium, potash and lime. Okay, and it holds moisture well, so it is ideal for growing cotton. Okay, so this is the black soil. Then we have red yellow soil. This develops on crystalline igneous rocks in the areas of low rainfall. Okay, they are available in eastern and southern parts of Deccan Plateau. Okay, and they are in the middle and also in middle of the Ganga plain. Okay, they develop reddish color due to the diffusion of iron. Okay, so the red and yellow soil has is rich in iron, and because of the diffusion it gets that reddish color, and it becomes yellowish when it rain water falls on it and it gets hydrated. Okay, and we have laterite soil. This develops under tropical and subtropical climate with alternate wet and dry season. Okay, so this is present in western Ghats of Maharashtra, Odisha. Okay, and it supports deciduous trees. Deciduous trees are whose leaves fall during the autumn, and evergreen forests. Okay, it is useful for growing tea, coffee and cashew nut. Okay, laterite soil. Then we have the arid soil, which is red brown in color. Okay, this has a sandy texture and it's saline in region, and it is there in Rajasthan. It is a desert kind of a soil, and after good amount of irrigation, these soils become cultivable. That is, you can grow plants even in the arid soil. Then we have forest soil. Forest soil is very fertile. It is found in the hilly and mountainous areas where sufficient rainforests are available. It is very fertile. Okay, what is soil erosion? Wearing away of soil cover, weathering and wearing away of soil cover and subsequent washing down is described as soil erosion. Natural forces like wind, glacier and water lead to soil erosion. Okay, so what happens is, because of natural forces like wind, glacier and water flow, the soil cover on the land weathers or wears away, right? It gets brushed off. Right, so soil is moved from one part of the land to another part. This process is known as soil erosion. How to reduce the effect of soil erosion? Okay, when you are plowing along the contour lines, you can decelerate the flow of water down the slopes. Okay, so when you decelerate the water speed of water, erosion is reduced. Similarly, terrace cultivation. Okay, so if you have land which is in the shape of terraces near mountains, you can cultivate one terrace, and you can plant trees there, and in the next terrace you can cultivate some more, and that also restricts erosion. Okay, what are also another method is strips of grass can be grown between the crops that break the force of the wind, reducing erosion. So if you have a lot of grass which are planted as strips in your farmland, then what happens is these are able to stop the wind, reduce the speed of the wind, so it will at least reduce the erosion a little bit. Okay, planting of trees in lines also reduces erosion, because the trees not only stop the wind but also their roots hold on to the soil more tightly. Okay, because of this erosion can be reduced. So these are the methods of reducing soil erosion. Compare Bangar and Khadar. See, Bangar and Khadar are types of soil which are found close to the rivers and little bit far from the rivers. Okay, Bangar is the old alluvial soil having more kankar. Okay, K-E-R is kankar, which is lime nodules found away from the river bank. Okay, so if you take a river, the land which is very close to the river edge is known as the river bank. If you go a little further, you will find Bangar, which is old alluvial soil. In the river bank, you will find what is known as Khadar, Khadar. Khadar is new alluvial soil freshly deposited by the flow of the river on the banks, and this is very, very fertile, much more fertile than the old alluvial soil, which is the Bangar. Okay. MCQs. Which of the following is the main cause of land degradation in Punjab? Is it intensive cultivation, over irrigation, deforestation, or overgrazing? So answer is C, over irrigation. Okay, so in Punjab, due to over irrigation, we are seeing land degradation. Which is the following states terrace cultivation is practiced? Okay, so we spoke of terrace cultivation as way to stop soil erosion. So it is taking place in which state? Is it Punjab, Haryana, plains of Uttar Pradesh, or Uttarakhand? The answer is D, Uttarakhand. In Uttarakhand, they have got a good practice of terrace cultivation, which helps reducing the soil erosion. Which of the following states black soil is predominantly found? Is it Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, or Jharkhand? Answer is B, Maharashtra. In Maharashtra, you will find lot of black soil deposits, which is useful for growing cotton. Name 3 states having black soil and the crop which is mainly grown in it. 3 states having the black soil are Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and Maharashtra, and the crops grown in it are cotton, tobacco, and sugarcane. Okay, so black soil which is able to sort of absorb moisture easily helps trees like cotton, tobacco, and sugarcane grow. Okay, so all these need lot of water to growing. So it is a lot of moisture to grow. So black soil is able to grow cotton, tobacco, and sugarcane. What type of soil is found in the river deltas of eastern coast? Give 3 main features of this soil. See, whenever there is river deltas, you will find alluvial soil, because the soil is brought, fertile soil from the mountains are brought down by the rivers and deposited on the lands. So alluvial soil in the river deltas of the eastern coast are found. Alluvial soil is rich in potash, phosphoric acid, and lime, and it has high water retention capacity, and it is very fertile. What steps can be taken to control the soil erosion in hilly areas? So we have already looked at this. Plowing along the contour lines will decelerate the water flow, reducing erosion. Terrace cultivation will restrict erosion. Planting of strips of grass between crops breaks the force of wind and reduces erosion. And planting lines of trees also stops wind and stops soil from moving around, and it stops reduces erosion. So these are the 4 ways where you can reduce the erosion. Explain land use pattern in India. Why has the land under forest not increased since 1960 and 61? Okay, so what they are asking is, given that India has certain amount of land, that is around 3.28 million square kilometer, like we saw before, what is the percentage which is used in what percentage? See, the most important types of lands in India are forest area, land not available for cultivation, cultivable wastelands, fallow land, and net sown area where crops are sown and harvested. These are the type of lands. Land under forest has not increased since 1960-61 because demand for the land has increased for agriculture and industrialization. So as India grows, demand for land for agriculture and industrialization is growing, because of which we are doing some deforesting, and that's why the forest lands are reducing due to increase of population and urbanization. So people living in cities is growing. That's what is known as urbanization. Deforestation has happened. Okay, because deforestation has happened, the land under forest has not increased since 60-61. How have technical and economic development led to more consumption of resources? Technical and economic development have contributed to increase of consumption of resources because we have lot of industries, urbanization, industries need resources, urbanization, that is building of cities, need resources, consumerism, we are mad after a lot of products, that increases resources. Population growth is happening, we have to do more agriculture to support this population. Yeah, we have to produce more energy to support this population consumption. Construction is happening, electronic waste is happening. Because of all these reasons, more and more resources are getting consumed.